Good afternoon. How are you today? Kevin is doing good. What have I been doing? Playing with FL Studio. It's been rained a few times today. It's overcast still, but it's still not bothering me. I'm still happy for it to do what it's doing. Even though it's been doing this for weeks and weeks, I'm very happy. So while it's raining, you can't work in the garden. And I wanted to go out, but I was like, why go out somewhere just for the sake of going out? So I think after today, I think I'm starting to get a little bit of cabin fever. So I think tomorrow I'll go go somewhere. Even if it's just to have a sandwich or something somewhere. But today I was playing with the FL Studio, and I played with it a long time by myself, and I couldn't quite understand how to get the instruments. And it's not as cut and dry like this is a drum, this is a saxophone, but I got it in the end. I actually watched a guy, a young guy who made a teaching video about how to get started. So he showed me one little thing which I could connect everything I've learned, and I played with it for a really long time, and I actually made some music. You know, they call them loops, where they're preloaded loops where you can play with, and you lower this and put this on, put reverb on. And I made something that only lasted about 20 seconds, but I was really pleased with it. So by this time I had a really bad headache, so I thought, okay, I'm going to close my eyes and let the headache go away. I napped, and when I woke up, I went back, and his next video was exactly what I was thinking of when I laid down. So it was really cool. You know, I'll put my hands up and say what I know about music. You can write on the back of a cigarette carton, you know, or cigarette box, a little one, you know, matchbooks. I don't know that much about the structure of a song. I'm not a music producer, but I just have this concept in my head that I'm going to do it. And you know, I played with the software until I learned so much, and then watched the video. He gave me a little bit of information that filled in 2 sections, which now I got one big section. And I kept looking at it, and my head went funny. Lay down, woke up, and then I watched the second video. And what I was thinking about as I dropped off for a nap was exactly what he said in the second video about having sections. You know, he called it chords and build up to a chord, but basically said, do whatever you want. If it sounds good, that's enough. I can just imagine somebody with a master's degree or a PhD or a conductor would say, oh, it doesn't do this and it doesn't do that. But nowadays I don't think it matters so much. You know, if you like the rhythm and it sounds good, then that's it. That's enough. And I have an idea what I want to do with it, and I'm going to keep going until I get it. I don't know why, I just have this bug to do it. So from not knowing anything to getting the software to getting it to work, I had a friend who helped me get it to work, because you have to line 3 things up. Anyway, I got it working now, and I'm really excited and having fun. And it's like you know, on a rainy day you can't go anywhere, I can sit and potter with that. So I'm very pleased. Just like I said the other day, come into the river, the lady finds some vegetables, the guy comes and finds fish, and together they have food. Before the water went up really high last time, she had like a bamboo gate, and inside the gate her vegetables grew. So every day she'd come down, got some food out her little gate. So it's like having a sectioned off garden in the water. Get her vegetables each day, he get the fish, and it looks like the river supplied her family with food. Very simple, if you know how. I'm actually down the road from my house now. I heard a chainsaw today, so I just come down to see who was here. And my, how can I tell you, my friend from the coffee shop, her brother, who lives right next door, but like a kilometer or so down the road, they cut trees and make charcoal out of it. So the people who own this land, between them, you know, the land belongs to somebody else, but they call each other, you know, can you get the trees back? And he pays them to cut the trees. He's done it about 3 times since I've been here, 3 or 4 times. This gets overgrown, and he pays the guy to get the trees. And you can see he's been working here today. So just like taking a small pickup truck load, cuts it back away from the road, and then turns it into charcoal, and then takes it to the market and sells the charcoal. While I was down there watching him do the chainsaw thing, cutting up the wood today, I could see way down the road a blue truck, and I haven't seen the old guy who did the rice field for a long time down there, but he came by in his blue truck, and he was smiling. You might have remembered I said at one point he looked like he was really old, and he was like not doing so well. I thought like he was sick, his health was going. But he came by today and he seen me with a big old grin. He looked healthy and had some vitality, strength about him. So I was pleased to see that he looked nice and healthy. So he was laughing as he went by. So I sort of put my hand out and he grabbed my hand as he went by. He's in that old truck. There's no doors on it, so it was kind of funny. There's another guy who used to live here. You've never met him. He was I used to call him General Bang. Bang lived down the road. He's a nice guy. Just needed a friend, that's all. And he used to come around and hang out all day. And he didn't want to hang out in the house or anything. He just, if I was in the garden, he wanted to see what I was doing, and he wanted to help. He was how old was he? He's a couple of years older than me. But he used to stand there with his hands behind his back, so I used to call him, he's just stand there watching the world go by, and so I called him General Bang, general with his hands behind his back watching. And in the early days, he was a nightmare, because, over here, the water pipe, the mainline water pipe, was above the ground, and it could have got broke very easy, but nobody fixed it, just left it there, sitting in the sun, heating the water in the pipe. So the first thing I did is I hired somebody because they had to switch the water off so they could break the pipe, and then dig a trench and stick it in it and bury it and put some dirt back on top of it, because I didn't want to work in my garden with that thing sticking out of the ground, because they I could have broke it and then everybody loses their water. But I'm thinking, why do you leave the water line above and outside the ground? Anyway, these guys fixed it for me. But before that, I wasn't here for a couple of days when I was still living in Ayutthaya. And Bang decided he was going to do some gardening for me. And Bang's gardening was burning. So he set the grass on fire. And it got out of control because it was a bit windy that day. And burnt my... what tree was it? It was a mango tree, and it was coming on quite nice. He burnt that, burnt my garden, and burnt the water pipe. So when I come home, or when I come here, there was no water, because he melted about 10-foot section of the water pipe. He was a mess. He was a real mess. And some people up the other road said, "Don't be angry with him because he was trying to help." But okay. So I'm going to sign off, guys, and head on in the house. Look after yourselves. Buckets of blessings. Rivers of peace, joy, and kindness.